Hey guys, welcome to Video Entrepreneurs. This is episode 4. We're going to have a great time hanging out with you guys, talking all about Amy's situation, where she's at, and how she's developing the focus of her channel, be more broad, be more narrow, which is going to serve her channel the best and her audience. We're going to talk about all of that coming up here today, and it's going to be a great conversation. One thing I want you guys to do, if you're not already aware, is you can tweet me during this at Tim Schmoyer, and throughout this whole entire time, what we will be doing here is I will be featuring your tweets as we go through this, as you guys can, I'll be putting them all on screen. So give me your feedback, give me your ideas, the suggestions that you have for Amy and these other creators that are here as we go through all this, and I'll be here on screen, and we'd love to highlight you guys as we talk about this subject that I know is going to be very important to a lot of people. But first of all, what I want to do is I want to give you guys I'll look at something for those of you guys who are really trying to focus on building the business side of your YouTube channel. I want to thank this episode's sponsor. It is FameBit, and these guys, if you're not familiar, is a great site where you can go to land brand deals, to start earning money from your audience. There's a link in the description below that you can go. They'll take you straight to the page that will give you as a creator more information about this. But this is really cool. Let me just give you a quick look at this. I want to show you something that you might not know about these. You can filter by different categories, price. Maybe you have a certain minimum price you're only going to consider. You can put that here. But the main thing I want to point out here is, when you go to one of these, see how this has like Instagram and Facebook? So for this brand, they're actually looking for Instagram and Facebook people to promote, not just like this one's like YouTube or this one. They're YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And so you can actually do brand deals on your other platforms as well as what you're doing through YouTube. So the way to set that up is you go up here and you go to settings, and under settings go down to the bottom, social media accounts, and you can link up your YouTube channel, your Twitter account, your Instagram, your Vine, Tumblr, Facebook, link all those up, and you can potentially earn more money from your other platforms that you're growing an audience on also, besides just YouTube. On YouTube, you need a minimum of 15,000 subscribers, or 5,000 subscribers, sorry. And then some of these other ones like Facebook, you need a minimum of 1,000 likes on your page, so you need do have a baseline, but after that you can start earning a lot more money from those other places. So check out the link in the description below to start earning more money, start developing that side of your business and your channel from everything you guys are doing, not just on YouTube, but on your other social profiles as well. And you can earn a lot more money by combining all of them together into one deal than just doing YouTube by themselves. So hope that was, you guys definitely go check that out. Today, we're hanging out with you guys. Hi, guys. Thank you for hanging out. All 6 of us are here. Good to see everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
So Amy's in the hot seat. She has a channel all about social media, training social media marketers, marketers, how to use social media. And I'll let Amy explain a little bit about that here today. But Amy, why don't you just give us a quick, 30-second pitch on your channel, and you guys can find it linked up below, and then tell us how we can help you, Amy.
Sure. So I started Savvy Sexy Social in 2011, helping businesses with social media marketing, a lot of small business, a lot of video creators coming to get sort of that information on how to grow an audience and better market themselves to that audience for whatever their end goal is. I've been 3 days a week on that channel for about 3 years, I think. And each day of the week was really a really quick and easy executable social media tip. It could be around video creation, talk a lot about YouTube content creation, but also the mainstream social networks, just how to use them, whether it was like a quick tactic or a strategy. So that's been the focus of the channel thus far. And in the beginning of this year, went to 5 days a week, including one more personality based, not that my videos aren't personality based, but I guess like informal getting to know you vlog on Fridays.
Cool. Awesome. So how can we help you?
So I guess this is really new for me in terms of like where this actual question is coming from. I honestly didn't know what I was going to talk about this week when we were here last week, but this has sort of just come up as sort of a shock to me that those vlogs that I'm doing on Friday were probably not the most strategically planned. I just wanted to fill 5 days a week. And I started in the personal vlogging space on a personal channel earlier than Savvy Sexy Social came to be. But I started uploading those videos on Fridays, and there have only been 3, and they're just crushing. So it just sort of begs the question, how can you potentially take a channel where you've really kind of proven that you know what you're talking about in that particular area, and you've sort of offered a value proposition for the channel, but to take it a little bit more mainstream where you're not going to be so pigeonholed into a niche, but able to reach a broader audience? How do you potentially pivot some of this content to go more in that direction, I guess, without flipping the script completely on your existing audience, and sort of isolating where your origins are?
What's your goal for the channel? If you don't mind me asking, what's your goal for it? Like, where are you trying to go with it? What do you want to accomplish with it? Is it a business funnel? Is it a personal thing?
Well, it's always been a business funnel for me, always. And that's why it's been very important to me to stay as targeted as possible, because to me, YouTube subscribers don't matter if I can convert the few that are the perfect customer to buy the product and that's right for them. But I'm starting to think that social proof, in terms of where I'm going as a thought leader and a public speaker, is really, really important. And numbers are great for putting butts in seats, no matter what seats we're talking about. So I think in order to grow at a much larger rate, just for the sake of having a bigger audience that's going to get me more results in other areas of my business in the long term, they may not buy the product right now, but to have an audience that sort of helps position me as an influencer, that's essentially where it's going. I think I'm looking at YouTube as another opportunity to grow my brand, not necessarily a specific product or a specific funnel. I think that the growth of the channel overall, even if it's just a little bit less targeted than it's been with 40,000 subscribers, is going to benefit my personal brand in the long run.
Cool. I think your business should always be a reflection of who you are. Any business that you go into, the longer that you stay on a path because that's what you've done historically, it's just a recipe for disaster. Mm-hmm. And I think we all get into those funks as entrepreneurs where you're doing something because that's how it's always worked. Right. And we start something because it's new and innovative and creative. And this is what we want to tackle. And then we put ourselves in a box.
Yeah.
And entrepreneurs don't like being in the box.
Right.
And then we get tired of it. And then we want to break free and do something else. Mm-hmm. And it's realizing that you made that box and you can explode it whenever you want.
Right.
Thinking back about Tim's channel, he posted a video a couple months ago.
Yeah, I've been pivoting myself. Yeah.
And like being frustrated and just doing the same things. And now, like even this, what we're doing now is an experiment that Tim created to want to do something bigger and more, right? So your business, for all of us and for everybody watching, always be a reflection of new interests, new passions, new desires, and not just keep the same schedule because it has worked. That being said, I believe that any YouTube channel should have at least 10% content that's personal, because people want to know you. Like, you develop this personality, you're an expert at whatever, we're all experts in our own fields, but it's just a testament. The fact that your blogs have taken off is a testament that people want to know about Amy, not just how to get more Twitter followers in the next week, right? And I've watched some of your kind of practical how-tos, and they're nice, short, quick videos, couple minutes long. And they're always like energetic and upbeat, but not a lot of Amy in there. And then the vlog that you just put up is all Amy. And so it makes people just tighter and more connected to you. Mm-hmm. So that they feel they know you, they trust you, they like you even more. And whenever you come up with your next seminar or book or whatever, those are the hardcore people who want to come and buy from you. So even if you don't pivot the rest of your stuff, the social media strategies, even that just stays the same.
Right.
I think having that additional piece, at least 10 to 20% of the content on anybody's channel should be personal. That's my belief. The other guys might disagree with that. Mm-hmm. because it really forms a strong connection. Now you're not just the person giving social media advice. They feel like they know you as a person, and that makes everything you say much more impactful.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I think part of it too with Amy is that she has I'm a fan of Amy's. I've been watching her for probably a year now. And I jumped on her mailing list, not because I wanted some free download, but because I wanted more information from her. And like on her mailing list, she has a bit of that lifestyle brand. And I think when she puts that vlog in, not only is she casting a larger net and increasing her audience, but she's also kind of giving that little bit of slice of life. And lifestyle brands are so popular, especially for bloggers and vloggers, because people see somebody being successful and they want to know what else is happening, and they just want that little glimpse behind the scenes. And not everyone will watch the Friday video, but I don't think it would make them unsubscribe and not watch the other three. It's just the icing on the cake. And I don't think having some videos with a lower view count will harm you, especially overall if it makes all of your whole channel's view count higher. So I think it's great. I don't think there's any downside to it.
What's the main value you're trying to provide through your channel?
I mean, the value proposition has always been to grow your business in connected ways to your audience. So, I mean, like that's sort of a broad way of saying use digital tools correctly, meaning like stop treating it like you're just talking to a computer. You're actually talking to humans. Use these tools to communicate, listen, and have an incredible presence for your brand in turn.
Yeah. So the way I think about that, that's good. So the way I think about it is that, and some of these other people might have different feedback about it, but I try to like always keep the value of the channel the same. But to Evan's point, it also has to reflect you. And so I don't, there might not be a discrepancy here if you're talking about like what I'm trying to do, becoming more personable on my channel, because I just tend to be like typical dude who's just giving like info download, like no Tim in it really at all as far as like my story and things like that are concerned. And thinking like, well, what if I start talking about my own business publicly? That would be personable. I'd be risking some vulnerability, be building a human connection with the viewers. But I'm not just like putting my family's vlogs on here because I want to, that's too far of a disconnect, I think, in my mind. If I just start making personal vlogs on like video creators, people would be like, Tim, what are you doing here? Like that doesn't fit.
I originally would have agreed with you about that. But to some extent, I wonder like how much showing your family, especially the cross-pollination there. But with all that aside, just showing some of that.
Yes. And I think that so if like for me it's like I'm gonna bring in my kids into my videos. They're doing these videos with me sometimes, or like that one time I lost my voice, my wife actually stood in for me and spoke on my behalf, and then we always plug our family's channel and stuff as like while we do that. But I wonder if you can't also continue to deliver the value that your subscribers expect from you and your business that will support your business, while also being personal about it. But
yeah, I actually think it's sort of like I've opened myself up to so many content opportunities now that it's like it just ends up being sort of like a slow transition. Proving like that this is already going the right direction with having like that one episode a week being a little bit more personal, then maybe that increases, and just sort of like it just keeps going until the sweet spot is there. I definitely don't anticipate getting away from the origins of the show anytime soon, but I could see them going back to their old frequency or a little bit less, and having more personal stuff start to creep in, so that it's over time, especially as like if these are supposed to be making bigger moves for me in terms of having an audience find me, it's not going to be weird to them when they see sometimes this and sometimes that, because it's what's they've come to expect when they discovered me in the first place. But for those people that have been around since 2011 or a little bit later, then it's not like abandoning them and what they've come to expect.
Yeah, to Amy, I mean, to Tim's point, I think, so I watched your vlog when you showed that guy who wrote 6 books and you met at a cafe or whatever. Like you can inject a little bit of a business lesson in there too. Like, how did you meet this guy? Why did you decide to work with him? How has he written 6 books? Like maybe there's still lessons in there for entrepreneurs. So it's not 100%.
Yeah, no. And it's going to be so hard for me to completely veer away from that. Like it's inherently like me to talk about that in the first place. I just think that wasn't the point of the video itself. So that it just didn't get there. But if that was going to be like the sole focus of it, I totally agree. It's very hard for me to not try to teach at any moment in time. Like it's just how I do things.
So teach. What's wrong with teaching? Right? Like
no, I'm not saying that that's a problem. I'm just saying, yes, you're right. Like that's
Amy, what I've done this year is I've started a second show as also kind of an experiment this year. I've done it for the whole month of January, and it's essentially a vlog, but it's not. I have a separate channel for just vlogging, which is totally unrelated. I can talk about topics completely unrelated to my main channel.
right.
But on my new show on the main channel, it's a vlog style. It's definitely casual, but it's still related to my main content. And I'm kind of blown away by how popular those videos actually got more views than the original video, which I was talking about.
Right.
So, and I don't know how. My suspicion is that this is also because it's new, people are interested in it, and also because those can be just short-term clicks on blog kind of things because they're more timely, whereas my regular content is definitely more evergreen and people can click on it. And same with your regular shows, it's something people are always going to be clicking on, but your Friday show is probably, within a week, you're not going to get a whole lot of views on those.
Exactly.
But I'm wondering, what do you account for the success of those Friday vlogs?
I mean, I'm just a funny human being. So
you made me laugh. I mean, I was laughing with you totally.
Honestly, like I just think it's comfort on camera. When people see that you're standing in front of a white wall and, like you're pretty good, they're like, okay, maybe she's reading a prompter, maybe she's practiced a lot. When you can kind of just sit on the couch and jam, and for some reason it's like the same energy level, but it's just a little bit of a different take. I really do think that from what I've learned from anyone I've ever spoken to that's watched any content, mine or not, it's them being fascinated by the fact that somebody can talk to a camera and it feel like you're talking to a human. So I honestly think that's the case, and just strictly the change up of thumbnail and like vibe and, like titles in all caps because she's kind of acting crazy in this and just owning that. I honestly think that's what it is.
Yeah, and Tim, to Amy's point, I think you could even go deeper. Like, yeah, I think you could do a vlog once a month on the channel, and I think that would tie in the video creator community a lot more to you.
Absolutely.
I think you're personal. I mean, that's why we're all here. We all relate to what you're doing. That's why the chat's going nuts. But I think there's still room for you to do more than just, and for everybody, than just do, hey, my wife is on camera once for me. It's still video content. You can get away from it. One a month, and it'll be okay.
Yeah, you guys are totally right. Yeah.
Like
I
when
could
you're
be like,
Tim,
look at this new trick I can do. Woo!
That would go nuts.
Now we're going places.
Amy, the other thought I had for you was, I don't understand your why. Like, I look at Tim's, and he talks about he wants people to better the world through making videos, right? And if we look at Tim versus other people who talk about the same stuff, there's lots of guys talking about video creation, and Tim's content is great. Other people's content is great. I like Tim because of his why. And I watch your stuff, and it's great tips, awesome tips. And I can get similar tips from other people. But if I, like, why do you care so much about entrepreneurs? Why do you care about them being successful on social? What's the backstory there? Do you want them to change the world, or were your parents entrepreneurs, or like, why is this so deep down important to you? Because if you can connect to that deeper mission, which I'm sure you have, because to go 3 years, 3 times a week, you don't just do because it's a fun thing to do. There's a mission there. And the more you can tie that in, I think people, again, it's that like deeper connection to you and what you're all about, I think would make a big difference.
Good point.
I think, my personal opinion, I think that because you've already established yourself in your genre, and people, to your point, people have been watching you for 6 months, a year, a couple of years, they know what to expect, right? They see your thumbnails. Your thumbnails are very, very well done. Either they have an image in them, so you kind of know what app it's directed towards, or just because of the text you have on top of it, people know what they're expecting in that video. And I think with a lot of niche channels that have like specific messages to share, I might look at your sub box and see that you posted a video about Snapchat or Twitter, and I'm like, oh, I don't really use Twitter, I don't use Snapchat.
Right.
I'll skip that video, right?
Right.
Whereas your vlogs, again, you like you said, you're not behind a white background, you're kind of behind some other image, and the text is bold, right? It's all caps. Might be more inclined to click on that and watch that. And then once I realize, oh, hey, Fridays you're posting these vlogs. This is like a behind the scenes of Amy, right? This is behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And people love that. And I was saying this kind of before we started, we went live. Some of the most popular daily vloggers, or just vloggers in general, their vlogs stemmed and broke off from their main channel. They were comedians, or they were prank people, or music video, making music videos. And then they started doing the vlogs, and most of them broke off into another channel. And then that's how they kind of had the Shay Carl's a great example of that, right? He had his Shay Carl channel where he was doing this stuff with the station and doing like comedy stuff. But then he started his Shay Tard's channel for weight loss or whatever. That kind of blew up into the vlog thing. And the reason why it was so successful, like day one, he had like 10,000 subs, was because the moment he went from his main channel saying, hey, this is all polished quality production stuff, this is the raw behind the scenes Shay Carl, and everyone just latched onto that.
Love that, right?
That reality, that realism, and I think that's what you're experiencing now on your channel here, where they love your polished production value that you give in your videos about a specific topic, but now you're giving them something else behind the scenes. Like this is the real Amy. And to your point, you can still teach and you can still give lessons in that kind of everyday life. But I think that's why you're seeing such a huge spike in growth right away in those videos, is because they're like, wow, this is something different, and this is something more real, I guess. And so I think you're going to continue to see that, especially since it's only once a week right now, where you're posting just on Fridays. People are going to come back every Friday for those videos to see what is Amy up to now.
True.
One thing that may help, that really helped me, is I don't see my YouTube channel as a channel, not a show.
Yeah.
Right. And so if people say you can only upload once a week or 3 times a week or once a day. And when you turn on a channel, when you go and turn on NBC, there's a bunch of different shows. Right. And so I could see my channel getting to the point where I have something on all the time. And I don't care if they watch every single show or not. So the social media tips is a show. The vlogs are a show. Whatever you do next is another show, but it's all part of the same channel. And so you don't have to leave and go start another YouTube account. You can put it under the same.
Not interested.
Right. And just carry people along as you evolve. Some shows die, some shows get created, and some shows evolve. And so you are a channel. You're not a show.
Totally.
It seems like it's. I'm sorry. It seems like
my
it's
only
a good
concern
idea.
with that is just YouTube, the way it handles its subscription feed. And I know from just my own experience, when I subscribe to channels that start posting a lot, I start to just blur them out, and I end up not watching as many as.
Yeah.
And I think that's just because of the way that feed goes. It's a little bit different than a channel on TV.
I sometimes wonder if less is actually more in that regard, but that might be another topic for another time. But go ahead, Lindsay.
Oh, well, I was just saying, the more, like, I post every day, and I notice if I miss a day, and even if that video is only going to get 2,000 views, my daily view count will be down like by 10,000, because I think, the diehards will watch that, and then they'll see what's on the sidebar, or maybe they'll start it just to see.
Oh, that's an interesting point. Yeah.
So it's almost like that video, even if it only gets 2,000 views, that's 2,000 advertisements for the other 1,300 videos that I have.
Yeah, it's 2,000 opportunities.
Exactly.
Right.
So overall, it grows, and I see, and like Steve's a good example. My husband watches Steve, and so I see a lot of his videos, and every once in a while, I'll catch one of the Mere Minutes, which is your other channel, right,
That's
Steve?
my vlog channel.
Your vlog, and they're really funny, and I enjoy watching them, but I don't think I got to subscribe to that channel. I think I'm subscribed to Steve. I'll see it in my sub feed. So I think you've got a lot of users that don't necessarily understand secondary channels. Might as well put it down the pipeline where they're going to see it. And I think overall, all the videos do well, because I see a lot of these secondary channels that people have, and it seems like the views on those videos don't do as well. I would think it's better to put it all into one channel than to be kind of spread out through these other channels. And then you can always organize by playlist. So if somebody loves, your watercolor tutorials, they can go watch a whole playlist full. You can iCard it or put it in the video description. Those playlists will get recommended on the sidebar. I think YouTube's getting more like Netflix, their new sub box. I've noticed on the computer anyway, it gives you like instead of just that long linear feed, you get like a full screen full of thumbnails. So it feels a lot more like you can see everything, like you're not missing out, or like you don't have to scroll through pages and pages. So that's my take on it. I think YouTube is rewarding people that are pumping out more content.
Yeah, the way I think about second channels is if it's a different value you're delivering to a different target audience, then it should be on a different channel. But I think what we're discussing here is that there's ways that you can deliver the same value to the same people, but through different formats. One could be super personable. One could be just straight up teaching, tutorial. And so there's probably different ways to do that, but if you're doing like maybe this isn't true in Clintus's case because he's primarily like a relational value is what he's providing regardless of what he's doing. But for some of us though, if I was going to start putting my gaming stuff on video creators, that wouldn't make sense because that's a different value to a different audience, right? Unless maybe I was talking about video creation during it. I don't know. But that's how I think about secondary channels anyway. Amy, did this help at all? Do you have any takeaways
actually,
here
it was really good. I knew that there wasn't going to be like I think I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I think I'm just going to probably escalate the creep a little bit sooner than I thought a few weeks back, just because this conversation in conjunction with some other YouTuber conversations I've had in the last week about this really make me think that if there's an opportunity for growth, then I need to kind of pursue this more quickly and leverage that opportunity. So this has been really helpful because I think all of these insights are important.
I think the general principle here, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the overall principle here, the takeaway is that it's always okay to keep experimenting and trying new things on your channel, right? The moment you stop doing that, that's where I was at Video Creators. I felt like I was doing the same thing for 2 years, and I was dying inside. My creative energy was gone, and I think your audience can start to pick up on that too. So I think reinventing yourself, every major top YouTube channel that I know of that I've been watching at some point has reinvented itself and changed the way it does things, changed shows, changed everything. And I think sometimes that's necessary. And there's always a little bit of transition time where you're trying to figure out, what should I do next? How do I experiment with this? How do I make this new and fresh? How do I keep delivering this value to these people? That type of thing. And I think where you're at, Amy, is fun and exciting, although a bit stressful. Yeah. So
I'm excited to report on more shapely results next time I'm up.
Yeah. So do you have any specific goals?
Honestly, I kind of want, it's been 3 weeks, so I kind of want to make sure that what I'm saying is a thing. I'm pretty sure it is, but I kind of want to be able to it's funny when I'm it's Monday and I'm trying to look at analytics for a Friday vlog and it's still kind of not quite there.
Right.
So, I want to be able to go back and really look at what is the difference with advancement in subscribers and views and referred content and be able to say that this is actually something that's going to be worth expanding into. Because reinventing myself sounds amazing, but I want to make sure that it's a thing, a real thing.
Great. And for you guys who are watching this, the link to Amy's channel is down below, so you can go subscribe to her channel and follow along and give her your feedback in the comments of her videos as she goes forward with this. And I'm sure you'll have a great time just kind of watching and learning and seeing how she transitions going forward from all this. So go check her out, link down there below. If you guys aren't aware, you can also download the audio recording of these as a podcast form. It's in iTunes, SoundCloud, and Stitcher. Links to all those are down there in the description below as well. And in case you can't join us live sometime, or maybe you just like listening to us on double speed like chipmunks, you can do that too and crank through these. Whatever the case may be, those links are down there. So subscribe to the audio versions. I also usually throw in like a little bit more extra stuff after in those recordings, and I record those differently than here, so you get a little extra bonus stuff in those as well. So go check those out. And if this is your first time here in Video Creators, I'd love to have you subscribe, because this channel is all about helping you guys grow your YouTube channels and with shows like this, the business that surrounds it, so that your audience can continue to grow. You can reach people and change their lives. That's why this matters to me, as Evan talked about. The why is really important to me, about helping you guys spread messages that change lives and reach people and make this world a better place. So thank you for hanging out with us. Subscribe, and we will see you guys again next week at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time right here for Who's in the Hot Seat. I just put myself on the spot here. This Clintus is on the hot seat, so this is me not being very prepared. So thanks for hanging out, guys, and we will see you guys again next week when we talk with Clintus. See you then. Bye.